The film starts with a spouse coming home and hearing a demonic snarl, sending him upstairs. He ignores the clutter and searches the bedroom for his wife. He calls her, but she simply growls and sticks to the walls. Later that day, the husband seeks his friends, Reynard and Laura's, for help. Antony, his wife, experienced something weird 3 days ago. She wakes up coughing and brings a water bottle but starts to cough dark blood. Antony collapses after her bizarre experience. Doctors can't find out why she's bedridden. When the husband comes home from work, he sees that she has been possessed by a powerful demonic spirit and looks horrifying. Reynard doesn't know the demon's name, but its purpose is to inhabit a human body. He failed to exorcise the demon and asked for help from some exorcists. The experts arrive at his house and are led to the bedroom. Laura's cautions them not to enter until they're done. A year later, Vanya, Antony's child, is orphaned. Uncle Aidan and Aunt Myra give her a birthday surprise. Myra gives her a gorgeous dress, and Aidan gives her the new iPad she desires. Vanya thanks Myra and takes the iPad upstairs. Aidan distracts his wife with a hideous Sabrina doll from his toy firm. He says it's bigger than every Sabrina doll, and no one has it. Aidan hopes the doll will unite Myra and Vanya. The girl struggles to feel happy after losing both parents. The following day, Vanya and the other kids watch as their Playboy classmate plays the Charlie game. The Playboy talks with his deceased grandmother through the game, shocking the children. In the end he prays to terminate the game. Vanya asks about the prayer as he opens his eyes. He explains that starting and ending the game with prayer allows the welcomed ghosts to return peacefully. He adds that if the app senses supernatural movement, it will blink green. Vanya borrows the board after hearing this. Later that night, Vanya uses the board to talk to her mother, Antony, but she neglects praying. Vanya runs around the house with the iPad waiting for the app to blink. The app soon detects a movement as Vanya goes downstairs, so she follows the sensor. Instead of finding a ghost, she finds Myra. Vanya says she wants to see her mother with an entity detector. Myra offers Vanya the Sabrina doll to cheer her up and make a friend. The next day, Aidan tells Myra that Sabrina doll sales are doing great. Vanya appears wearing Myra's dress. Vanya grins cheerfully at them as she keeps Sabrina in her arms. Later that day, while stitching, Myra hears the music box playing. So she enters Vanya's room, turns it off, and closes the door. However, she hears the music again. She opens the door and is astonished to find the Sabrina doll sitting on a chair. Myra pushes the chair, closes the windows, and turns off the music box, creeped out. As she turns, the doll faces her. Hearing noises outside, Myra inspects the room. She finds the maid cleaning the corridor and breathes with relief. Later that night, Vanya tests the entity detector again at Myra's workplace. The app soon detects a movement, but Vanya is disappointed after realizing it's simply the mannequin. However, as she moves away, something from the cabinet suddenly grabs and locks her within. Aidan hears her screams for help, so he instantly runs to the room and gets her out of the cabinet. Vanya explains that something grabbed her, but Aidan thinks it's because she's playing too much on her iPad. He takes her to supper downstairs and takes the iPad. But later that night, the little girl sneaks into their room and takes the device. The entity detection app senses movement behind her again. Vanya turns to see her mother on the terrace. She says she misses her. Her mother says she will not leave again and puts her to sleep. The morning arrives, and Myra tells Vanya to have breakfast with her and Aidan. As she closes the door, Myra hears Vanya chatting with someone else, thus, she instantly opens the door. But then she remembers that Vanya is just a kid and kids of her age tend to speak to themselves. She leaves Vanya alone, unknowing that Vanya's mother is there. Breakfast is ready, however, Vanya is still not at the dining table. So Myra climbs upstairs to fetch her. On the way, she sees the doll, thus, she walks to the attic, assuming that Vanya is in there. Myra accidentally finds Aidan's documents while searching for Vanya. The eerie Sabrina doll watches her read it from behind. She eventually finds Vanya playing. The small girl happily says that the Charlie game worked, and she's playing with her mother. Later that day, Myra tells Vanya that she and Aidan realize she's still grieving her mother's loss, but she must move on. Vanya ignores Myra's affection and goes upstairs to see her mom. Aidan then gives them a beach vacation to relax. We see a hole get dug, and when Myra returns, Vanya's bucket is gone. She quickly finds Vanya chatting to something unseen. Myra confronts Vanya about this, so the girl reveals that she's chatting with her mom. Myra decides to talk to Aidan. She goes to the hole, but Aiden is not there. She looks for him and finds him drinking water. Just as she moves away, someone grabs her into the hole and buries her there. After hearing her screams, Aiden rushes to her, digs up the sand, and saves her. While Myra screams in Aiden's arms, confessing that someone snatched her, Vanya observes them from afar. Later that day, as Aiden is asleep, Myra gets out of their bedroom after hearing constant knocks. She discovers nobody on the balcony. She enters the gazebo and hears the piano. She approaches the person but pauses when she recognizes her. Anthony's smile frightens Myra. But then she turns around, displaying a horrific face, horrifying Myra. Anthony immediately charges at her, leading Myra to retreat and hide in a room. She looks for matches to see in the dark. Yet as she lights two up, Anthony is already there. Myra gives out a loud scream as Anthony jumps on top of her. Aiden hears her, so he swiftly gets out of bed and comes to her. A distraught Myra informs Aiden that Anthony attacked her before leading him to the piano. Then, it is shown that Anthony is nearby. The two gaze to the side but realize that only the camera can see Anthony. Just as Anthony reaches them, the two suddenly get hoisted up in the air for a second before plummeting to the floor. They run as swiftly as they can upon witnessing Anthony crawling toward them. The two promptly hurry back to the house. Myra hastily shuts the door while Aiden carries Vanya. The door rattles until Myra wraps a necklace around it. They calm down, and Myra explains to Aiden that it was provided to her by Laura's for precaution. The two quickly went to ask for help from the clairvoyants, Laura's, and her husband, Reynard. Myra says she played Charlie with Vanya to help her cope with her mother's death. After yesterday night's event, Vanya has been acting strangely. Laura's informs them Vanya summoned the dead. Disturbing the dead and bringing them to life usually invites bad things. The following day, Laura's and Reynard arrive at their residence to support Myra and Aiden. Laura's tells them that they're going to play the Charlie game, and Reynard adds that it's to ascertain whether it's actually Vanya's mom or not. Laura's instructs Vanya to ask 3 questions that only her mother can answer. Vanya follows Laura's orders and confirms the responses. Laura sends Vanya to her room while they chat with her mom. Since the correct answers reveal it is Anthony, Laura's and Reynard prepare to send her back to her domain. However, Anthony refuses to be sent back, thus, they need to force her. While they're busy downstairs, the lights in Vanya's room suddenly go out. The maid seeks her in the dark, but she finds a possessed Vanya instead of an innocent little kid. Vanya stabs her and then goes downstairs. She then stabs Laura's in the back, so the three swiftly pin her down. Laura's then exorcises Vanya with Reynard's help. Vanya levitates as she's being exorcised, and with Laura's and Reynard's strength, they throw out the wicked spirit in her. She awakens, but Bagaya, the demon, threatens them. The home begins to tremble, flickering the lights. They hastily go outside, but Reynard and Aiden return inside and hurriedly carry the unconscious Sabrina and the maid. Reynard closes the door and puts a choker around the knobs, stopping the terror inside. While at the hospital, Reynard informs them that it is a demon's child disguised as Anthony, who has been staying with them. The scenario recalls when Laura's and Reynard handled Anthony's case a year ago. Laura's attempts to talk to Anthony, but understands it's not an evil ghost inhabiting Anthony, it is a demon's offspring, Bagaya, who took Anthony's soul. Laura shows Bagaya the necklace, a living emblem of the sacred vow that Bagaya and any other demon hate. However, Laura's and Reynard's work gets interrupted when Anthony's husband bursts in. Bagaya quickly murders the husband, causing Laura's to put the necklace around its neck before it can kill them. Anthony levitates while Laura's repeatedly cites the exorcism prayer and pulls down the necklace. Laura's exorcises Bagaya with Reynard's help. Laura's then reveals that if a demon stays in a human body for more than 2 days, the soul inside will die. They never learned how Bagaya possessed Anthony's body, but they were confident it would look for any means to return to the human world and kill Laura's because she blocked it from controlling Anthony. Reynard tells them to locate another house to remain in because returning to their house will be exceedingly risky. Reynard and Laura's instantly return to their house and take their equipment to protect themselves. He soothes her and confesses that he requested the Almighty's direction and protection to defend himself from demons after their first meeting. It led him to a cave where he found an heirloom, hidden by the demon itself since it knew it could be defeated with it. While Aiden drives to their parents' house near their family's toy factory, Laura's and Reynard arrive. They open the sealed door and confidently enter, but Laura's cannot feel Bagaya's presence. They realize that Bagaya used the house as a shell because it left before Reynard shut it. Now Bagaya is in Sabrina. On a day off, Aiden shows them the vacant toy factory before Vanya tries the sewing machine. Aiden and Myra then head to the bathroom. While waiting for Vanya, Myra hears a faint demonic growl and finds Bagaya standing across from her. After Vanya finishes, Myra runs with her to the sewing room as Bagaya chases them. They swiftly tell Aiden and leave the room. Myra gets locked up and Aiden tells Vanya to call for help while he tries to open the door. Bagaya attacks Myra as she crawls to the door. Vanya is left to Lars and Reynard. They rush into the workplace to help Aiden. As they open the door, Myra is possessed. She appears from the darkness and stabs Lars, forcing them to pin her down. However, Bagaya stabs Reynard in the chest and knocks Aiden out. After stabbing Reynard again, it chases Lars and violently stabs her. Bagaya doesn't back down when Lars uses the necklace to halt it. Aiden regains consciousness and helps Reynard outdoors. Lars runs inside the house, but Bagaya wants to kill her. The two men arrive at the house just in time. While Lars exorcises, they hold her down. However, Bagaya teases her and says that even though she can toss it out of Myra's body, it would continue to control humanity because someone summoned it to the human realm. Flashbacks disclose the reality. Anthony's husband is Aiden's father's favorite son. He doesn't appreciate Aiden's work even after he dies. Aiden also received 40% of the company, while the brother received 60%. Aiden hires a shaman to kill his sibling. However, the brother is difficult to possess. So, he uses Anthony to accomplish his plot to be the only successor. After the flashback, Bagaya tells Aiden that his plan worked. His brother is dead, and he's the only successor. Aiden ignores Reynard's warning, and Bagaya takes over. Bagaya pushes Reynard to the windows with one hand on Aiden's torso. Lars goes to the kitchen and locks herself. Bagaya rushes in and attacks her, but Lars seems unafraid. As Bagaya struggles to escape, she puts the necklace around Aiden's neck. As directed by Reynard, Myra regains her power and gets the Sabrina doll. He helps Lars exorcise Aiden, and Myra returns with the doll. Reynard pins the doll and stabs it, turning it into dust while Bagaya exits Aiden's body. However, Bagaya ultimately reveals itself. Lars uses the heirloom to stab Bagaya in the heart, ending its existence. After Bagaya disappears, Aiden is arrested for his family's murder. After all that, Anthony sees Vanya in her sleep and blesses her new life with Myra. As soon as she wakes up, Vanya calls Myra, her mom, and tells her, "I love you." The movie ends with Lars and Reynard receiving a call requesting them to solve a case worse than Sabrina's. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.